What's up, everybody? How are you all doing today? Are you guys doing great? Are you guys doing great? I hope you guys are doing great. I know for a fact that I'm doing great. Okay, let's see why this is still not showing up right. Okay, now it is. So, welcome to my not sure how many devlogs I made. I made a lot. But welcome to my devlog. And in this devlog, we're gonna be working on a mini-map feature. So let me see if I can find a mini-map. And there's a whole bunch of them. There's one from Brackeys. I like Code Monkey. He does a really simple mini-map. Well, check this one out first.
Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey, and in this video we're going to create a very simple minimap. Let's begin.
By the way, if you guys are interested in following along at your own pace, I'll link it in the chat. Okay, let's get back to this.
Alright, so here's my scene. I have a player character with a sword. There are some buildings and some enemies. I can attack the enemies and kill them. Okay. We want to display the player, the enemies, and the building in a minimap in the corner. Now there are multiple ways to create a minimap, but the absolute easiest one is simply making a camera. So let's check out the main camera. As you can see, the camera is just a basic 2D camera, and in here we have a culling mask field. This contains all the layers that this camera will render, which means anything is just a basic 2D camera, and the camera is just a basic 2D camera, and in here we have a culling mask field. This contains all the layers that this camera will render, which means anything not selected will not be rendered. This is what we need to make our minimap. So let's first go into our player, and inside let's create a new empty game object. Let's name it minimap icon and give it a sprite render and drag a circle onto it. Okay, let's scale it up a bit and tint it in green. Okay, so this is the green circle that will be displayed on our minimap, which references the player position. And if we run the game, you can see that the green circle is on top of the player in the main camera, which is not what we want. We want to display this on a separate camera. Okay, so let's go back into the editor. On our minimap icon, in here we're going to select a new layer. So click on layer and add a layer. In here, let's name our layer minimap.
Actually, why don't we do that first? We can actually do this. We can actually do a layer. So, layer, but we're not going to make that the layer. We'll have to, we'll have to make this the layer. Let's see, add layer. And which one did he do it on? He did it on layer 8, but I don't think it really matters. But, you know, for the sake of following this tutorial to a T, I'll do it layer 8. Okay.
And back in our minimap icon, set it to the layer minimap. Okay. So now let's go back into the main camera. And on the culling mask, which again, this is the layers that are rendered by this camera. So in here, make sure that minimap is deselected. That means that any object that has the minimap layer will not be rendered by this camera. Okay, so let's run the game just for...
Okay. So we already have a main camera. And let's see, culling mask is everything, but we don't want the mini map. So I guess mixed makes sense, some level of sense here. That didn't change too much, did it? Hold on, no it didn't.
For testing, and our green dot should no longer appear. Yep, there you go. This is our main camera, and the game object on the minimap icon no longer appears. Okay, so now let's make our minimap camera. So let's go into the main camera and duplicate it. Let's call this minimap camera.
And we're gonna make this in the level essentials. So this is the mini map. This is the main camera. This is the mini map camera. Let's see. We want nothing, but at the same time we want the mini map item here to show up.
First, let's remove the main camera tag. So just set this to.
So we don't want the tag for it. Okay.
Untagged. And now for the culling mask, this one will simply display the minimap. So select nothing and then only the minimap. As you can see on the preview, we can see our minimap icon. Let's make it a.
Hold on, I'm kind of curious about something. There's a bunch of assets that are like mini maps. Give me like 1 sec. So we got a whole bunch of like mini maps here. A Python mini map? What is that? Is that like any way associated with the Python programming language? Okay, I'm getting a bit distracted. Let's not use that. We can actually make our own.
Child of the main camera, so they always have the same position. And for depth, let's put it on 0, which is above the main camera.
So, depth. Depth. But wait, it should be orthographic, right?
So let's test and see what happens. You can see the player position displayed on our.
So wait a sec. Let's go back a few steps. The player
references
is
the player position. And if we run the game, you can see that the green circle is on top of the player. In here, we're going to select a new.
okay. So this already assumes there's a player. So the tank, we'll do like an image, I guess. Let's see. This is a 3D. We don't really need a box collider for this. So I'll get rid of the box collider. Where's that cube? That tutorial is in 3D. You know what I mean? But it's not really in 2D. So the challenge is getting it to be in 3D. You know, for the sake of prototyping, let's make this and where did he put that? Oh, he put it in there. Okay, wait, hold on. Player mini map icon. So if I were to move the tank around, it would follow it. That's kind of what we want here. Okay, good. Let's see. The mini map icon here would be mini map, and hopefully we can see that. But it's not really like positioned right. Pressing the wrong buttons. Hold on. We want it to be like the tip top. Nope, not like that. Hold on. There's probably a better way to do this in 3D. I'm genuinely a noob when it comes to 3D. There we go. Now when you hit play, it does look kind of weird. Fear not, this will only be used temporarily. Okay, let's move back a step. Okay.
Layer. So click on layer and add a layer. Above the main camera. On our map to hide our main camera. We want it to be displayed in the corner of the screen. So for that, we're going to use a render texture. So let's go into our project files. And in here, let's right click and create a new render texture down here. Okay. Let's call it minimap render texture. In here, let's give it a size of 512 by 512 so the minimap isn't very pixelated. And
okay, this is all 2D. I don't know if this is applicable, so I'm just gonna undo everything I did. There's a Brackeys video I found that's more helpful. We still have that layer. We might have to rename it, but that's okay. Okay, so here I should have used better search terms.
In this video, we'll make a minimap using render textures. Let's get right into it. So as you can see, I have this very simple scene with a player that we
Hold on, let me actually share this in the chat.
can move around. But of course, it's very much in need of a minimap. But in order to create a minimap, we need a second camera that can render our scene from a top-down view. To do that, let's deselect everything, right-click in our hierarchy and select camera. Let's then reset the transform on our camera and make sure that this sits at the same position as our player. To do that, we can select our player, right-click on his transform, hit copy component. We can then select our camera, right-click and hit paste component values.
Weird position. What do I do from here?
But we want to move our camera up. So let's drag up on our Y to something like 20. Let's also flip the camera so it's facing downwards. We do this by rotating by 90 degrees on the X. And first off,
Pretty clear instructions. Okay. It's funny, I can't even see the player. It's not even above the player. Oh, huh. Wait. Now it's like somewhere else completely. Oh, that. I should have. Yeah. That actually makes way more sense.
we want to make sure that we have all the same settings as our previous camera. Because in most cases, you probably want to render the scene in pretty much the same way. To do that, let's select our previous camera, hit right click, copy component. Let's select our new camera and paste those back in. In my case, this just changed the background to a solid color. Then we can change the projection from perspective to orthographic. This pretty much just removes all perspective from our scene. This is something that almost all minimaps do. It's great because it gives the impression that the scene is laid out flat. We then use the size to zoom out on our minimap, and you can choose the size of your zoom here.
Let's make it bigger. Take a look at that. Huh.
You can have it show the entire level at once, or have it only show a small part of your level but then follow around the player. I'm just gonna set mine to 15. We can also delete
15. No, that's reasonable.
our audio listener, our GUI layer, and our flare layer.
So pretty much, so we don't need this. It's the audio listener, so I'm just going to remove that.
We only want to be using the camera. But currently our minimap is overlaid on top of the entire screen. And that's not really the effect we're going for. We want our minimap to be shown as part of our UI. So let's now rename this object, call it minimap camera. Let's go into the scene view and let's create another object. This time we're going to go under UI and we're going to select raw image. We can then switch into (2D) mode and hit F to focus on a raw image. Now a raw image is basically like any other UI image component except it takes in a texture instead of a sprite. This is good because we are basically going to tell our minimap camera to take everything it renders and put it into a texture. This is called a render texture. We can then take that texture and display it on a raw image. Let's select our 2D controls up here. Let's zoom out a bit and now we can position our minimap where we want it.
Where's the best place to put the minimap? I feel like we can put it here. Let's see how it looks in game. We can make this bigger. Can we make this bigger somehow?
I'm going to anchor mine to the top right here. I'm going to set the
Actually, wait, I'm going to anchor mine bottom left. I feel like if I expand the screen, you know, not expand the screen, whatever. It's gonna have a problem.
The offset on the X to -75 and the same thing on the Y. I'm going to set the width and height to something like 170 by 170 and I'm then going to offset it on the X and Y by about 110. So now in our game view,
So 170, 170, 110, 110. We might have to change it on our end though. 170. I'm sorry, this is 170. 170. And -110. That's like way... I don't know, that's... I feel like that's fine. Nah, I feel like we can make this a bit bigger. Let's do that. How does that look? Nah, we can make it a bit bigger. I don't know why we made that text element look way too big, but you know what? For now, I guess that's fine.
we should see a white square in the top right corner of where our minimap is going to be. But of course we still need to display our texture. To do that, we create a new render texture. Let's go to the project, right click, go create, and now select render texture. And let's call this our minimap render texture. Here we have a bunch of texture settings. We're going to leave pretty much all of them as is. I'll have a link to where you can read about these in the description. First off, we can set the size to the same as our raw image. Let's set it to 170 by 170. And we can also disable our depth buffer.
What's our image? 200, but let's, render texture. 170 by 170. Nah, let's do 200. 200. Gee, why don't we just copy the exact values? Oh, wait. That's not even exactly the right values. Hold on. Let me copy it. Because we want it to, like, what? Fit the entire image or something? So I feel like that'd be better. And, what does he say about the no depth buffer? Okay. Wait, why does mine not have a depth buffer? Color's fine. No depth buffer. Clamp bilinear. I think all that's fine. I guess. Pretty sure all that's good. Yeah, where do I go from here?
If we now select our minimap camera, we can see here that there is a target texture variable, and this takes in a render texture.
Target texture variable. And that's what this will be, presumably.
Let's simply drag our minimap render texture into this slot, and you can see now that our game view switches back to our main camera. So our minimap camera is no longer rendering on screen. Instead, all of its data is being fed into this minimap render texture. And if we click on it, we can actually see the preview here. So now all we need to do is select our raw image and drag in our minimap render texture as the texture input. And voila, our camera.
Okay. It's a lot easier than I thought it was. Let me actually see how this looks. Now, this looks a bit odd because we need a border, and I'm pretty sure he's going to talk about that next.
Camera is now rendering directly onto the screen as a UI element. Now we can rename this to our minimap, and if we now hit play and start
pretty easy actually how to set this up. So if I hit play, what happens? It's gonna follow the player. Okay, so it doesn't really follow the player. This is actually pretty useful. Let me see, where's my other camera? That's what this is here. What about here? So let's say we go into 3D mode. And we find the player wherever the player is on here. Player somewhere on here. I guess what we could do is we could zoom out like all this way. Okay, so this moves faster on my laptop. How weird is that? My desktop actually, not laptop. So we can actually zoom out all like a little bigger than what we already have. So minimap camera. Um, mm, huh. Okay. I don't know how to get rid of that fog.
Moving around the scene, you can see our player moving around. Of course, our minimap isn't following our player yet, but we can add this very easily. Also, remember that you can style this minimap in
If it's so if you're gonna be following the player, I guess what we could do is go back to 50. It's a decent distance, I guess. Okay.
any way you'd like. It works just like any other UI element. You can add a mask in case you want, say, a circular minimap, or you can easily add a border. I'm just going to right click, go UI, and add another image. I'm going to scale this up to be about 178 by 178.
So this is actually like within UI image. Call it a border. It's doing 178 by 178. Okay. But I feel like we can make ours way bigger. Hold on. Let me actually do that. Let's go back to 2D view. That would be this right here. We should actually make this cover it, I guess. Alright, what do I do from here?
I'm then going to place this behind the minimap. I'm going to call this the minimap border.
So you gotta remember. Oh. So that's the minimap. This is the minimap border. So right now all it's doing is just covering the minimap, but we can actually like drag it out, I guess. Let's see. You might have a better. Yeah, that doesn't work. Let's try it. Let's try a whole bunch of them. I like that one. I guess for now that's okay.
We then parent the minimap to the minimap border. Make sure to anchor the minimap border to the upper right.
Oh, I keep forgetting. We gotta anchor this to the bottom right. Bottom left. Sorry, not bottom right. I keep saying bottom right. Let me go get my coffee. We're getting somewhere.
And let's have our minimap snap to the center of our minimap border.
What? Oh, hold on. Yeah. There, that actually looks better. Just looking at it.
So now we've created a border for our minimap. Let's now have it follow our player. Of course, the easiest way is to go ahead and just parent this to the player. And as you can see, this works just fine as long as our player is only rotating on the y-axis. But this is not always the case. So a better, more stable way is by creating a small script. Let's call this our minimap script. Let's hit create an add and open it up in Visual Studio.
Minimap script. You attach it to the minimap camera. And I gotta rename that camera, which I already did. We're, what did he call it? Minimap. That's it? Minimap? Just that?
Now first off, we want a reference to our player. We'll create a public trans.
Because all of this is in the level essentials, we'll just do serialize. We'll do it as a serialize field.
Transform player, and then instead of the two default methods, we'll create a void, and now this is going to be a late update method. We want to do this in late update because it's called after update and fixed update, and so we'll only update the position of our minimap after our player has moved in position.
Okay, so late update. Set that up. In late update, let's see, we got new position, player position. We already have the player here, so by the way, is it a vector 3? So vector 3 new position equals player dot new position, player dot position. Duh. So whatever the player position is, okay, new position dot y equals transform dot position dot y. whatever the camera's position is. And let's see, so then you're assigning, you're just doing like a reversal. So transformed opposition. So you're not really changing the y value of the transformed position. You're just changing like where on the X and Z the player is. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense here.
If we save this, go into Unity, make
Okay, let's actually like try this out. But before I do that, let's make sure my mini map has the player transform. And where would that be? It would actually be the tank. Hold on. Let's try this out. Hope it doesn't crash, because that would be bad. So now it actually works. It actually does follow the player. So this is actually like doable. Going to the edge. I haven't seen any bubbles yet. Oh, jinx. I jinxed it. Hope you guys like my art. Although chances are you might not. Well, that's okay. Yeah, that's another thing you gotta fix, the randomization. Give me a red one, come on. I need a red bubble. Okay, why is the player all the way up there? Alright, that clearly messed something up in the other scenes. So let's actually go in there and see what we did. We don't have a mini map in this one. Oh, huh. Wait, what did my test level? Oh, why is it all the way up there? Where's my player? My player's all the way up there. This always happens. Always. And realistically speaking, I should have used this scene as an example, not the other ones. Actually, here's what I should do. Hold on. Okay. What I should do is I should add a special starting object. And so if we ever end up in a situation where the player just appears somewhere else completely different, we could just use that. Okay, so this is so let's go to our tank. Realistically, all we really need to do is just modify those values. Where's my tank? Seriously? Bro, why is my tank all the way up here? Yeah, this scene is messed up. The only reason it's messed up is because we made it that way. That's why it's messed up. It's not messed up for any other reason. It's a good thing I have time to work on this, because I'd be obsessing over this issue for, like, God knows how long. Why are we all the way under there? Bro, where even are we? Just take me there. Okay, where's my tank? It's all the way there. Tank. Little tank. Sounds kind of stupid. Now let's try this out. Okay, that's good enough here. Let's go back to level 2 for a sec and go into my level essentials, and we're going to figure out exactly what to override. So we definitely added a border. So the first thing we should really do is this. We don't want to change the transform because it's the same for every level, so we can't just go in and just willy-nilly apply everything. So otherwise it ain't gonna work. Unless I accidentally did. Hold on. Why is my camera in such weird positions? Make sure, okay, that didn't break. Let's go back to my test level. Where's my tank? And I also got the mini-map camera, which is not really in the right place. So how did he position it? Let me go back to that really quick.
Previous camera, because in most cases you probably want to render the seam in pretty much the same way to do on the X. And first off, we want to make sure that
Okay, so so take whatever the position the tank is here. So copy. I mean, it's a good way to like practice this stuff. So copy, position, paste, position. Why is it camera all the way there? Wait, where even is the mini-map camera, dude? Is that the main camera? Okay. Well, where's the mini-map camera? What? Okay. So the mini-map camera is not even flipped anywhere. So the mini-map camera is there. The tank. Oh. Seriously? Look how... I guess that looks okay. Can make it 50. I mean, this is a smaller level compared to all the other levels we built, so... Is that even doing anything, dude? It's too close to the player. But if you make it 80, it's like all the way up there. But we can make it 50, which still means it's all the way up there. I guess it really depends on the level. Like, there's no one size. What I'm realizing now is there's no like one size fits all for all the levels. But let's try this to make sure it works. It's something we're really like creating a new level. We really have to be mindful about where things are and stuff. So that's one thing I'm noticing now, which isn't bad. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah. Okay. I feel like there's more you could add.
On the Y, so we can set new position thing for many minimaps. If you wanted to also rotate with the player, we simply go into our code, add a few lines, and we can now set transform.rotation equal to quaternion.euler, and here we feed it 90 degrees on the X, our player's rotation on the Y, and here we want to make sure to use Euler angles.y, and then 0 on the Z. Let's
So that would be transform rotation. Let me move this over here. So that'd be quaternion dot Euler 90F player the Euler angles Y. That would pretty much be it, wouldn't it not? Okay. Let's see what this did. That is actually cool. Not gonna lie. Okay. What do we change here? So everything with like transforms and rect transforms and this transform, that transform, whatever, we're not gonna really mess around with that. I guess what I should really do is add a level essential screen. So let's go here. That didn't change. Level 1 definitely might have changed. Okay. Where's my tank? Right here. Copy component. Position. And then we want to paste it here, I guess. We said it was like 50 or something, so. No, what did we say? Did we say 50? We said something. We said something. Here, we set this at 50. Yeah, we did set it at 50. I guess that's like universal. Okay, whatever. Let's see how, as long as it looks okay here, should be okay there. Okay, this is way too close to my tank for my personal liking. So I guess what we could do is, my main camera here. Actually, why am I doing it that way? Hold on. I always like my main camera up here. We don't want to override the main camera stuff. That's like, so this is why I'm saying we should always like, just, because every scene is set up differently. Control F, Control Shift F that bad boy, or for if you want, we could actually put it here. Let's try that one, see if that works. That actually looks a bit better, honestly, not gonna lie. I mean, what doesn't look better? So glad I got this set up though. Just looks cool, you know? Okay. So yeah, you at least know where you are in the world. Instead of just falling out of a coconut tree. I don't know. Alright. We should be good. Just gonna save there. Go back to level 2. Alright, I think that concludes this segment. I'm actually gonna...
Save this, go into Unity, hit play, and voila! Our camera is now also rotating with the player. So there's of course a lot of fun stuff that you can do with your minimap from here on out. You can add icons, you can add the ability to zoom in and out by simply adjusting the projection size of your camera, and you can add lots of styling options and masks. That's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks to all of the awesome Patreon supporters who donated in August, and a special thanks to Hans Hoftun, Derek Heemskirk, Faisal Marify, Jesper Mikkelsen, James P, Cyborg Mummy, Jason Latito, Aaron, Robert Bund, Husam Kazar, and Judaman. If you want to become a patron yourself, you can do so at patreon.com/brekkies. Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay. That was a good video. And one hell of a tutorial. So, yeah, I'm gonna end the stream here. hopefully you guys can, like my video, share, subscribe. This will actually be, when I stream, the intention is always to make it a video, so yeah. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next. I'll be playing some Spyro in a little bit here. As far as icons go, we can actually do that later on, but doesn't have to be now. Getting the minimap set up was the objective for today, and we actually achieved it. I thought it would take longer, but apparently it didn't. So yeah, um, that was literally like my entire plan. I guess there's no point stalling, so I'm gonna import the low poly assets now, but I won't do that live. I'll do it in the background. But before I do anything, I want to make sure my version control's up to date. Okay, we should be good. Change sets. So here's all the change sets we did. Did we really start working on this in the 14th? Nah. We definitely did some stuff before the 14th. That's weird. Oh yeah, so don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I really appreciate you guys for watching. I will definitely be back later. I'll have to brainstorm some ideas for what we're going to be making. So yeah, please stay tuned.